we're going to briefly look at a disability pension. In order to qualify for a disability pension, you need to be completely disabled for any type of gainful employment, okay? Not only to work as a carpenter or in the building trades, but, but you must be unable to do any substantial activity. That's work that utilizes any mental or physical duties or a combination of both. And gainful activity is work that is performed for profit. You get paid for that work. So you have to be completely disabled for any type of substantial gainful activity. Okay, so that's the disability standard you need to fulfill, and we'll talk about proof requirements in a moment. In addition to being disabled for any type of gainful employment, you also need to meet some credit requirements. In the construction plan, you need at least 15 years of pension credit, or if you don't have 15 years of pension credit, you need at least 10 years of pension credit. But then going along with the 10 years is a requirement that you have at least a quarter year of credit in the year you became disabled or any of the immediately preceding 5 years. On the Millman plan side, you need at least 10 years of pension credit, but you have to have earned a quarter of a year of credit in the year that you became disabled or one of the immediately preceding 2 years. In order to provide the fund office with proof of your disabled status, you either must furnish us with a Social Security Disability Award letter under the Title II Social Security Act, so that's Social Security Disability, or if you do not yet have Social Security Disability, you can certainly still file a disability pension application before you get Social Security Disability. But if you don't yet have the Social Security Disability Award, you need to submit medical records to the Retirement Benefits Department, and those medical records must substantiate your claim of total disability. The fund office staff, the Retirement Benefits Department staff, we are certainly not doctors or medical consultants. So what we do is we take those medical records and we send them to an outside independent medical consultant, and that independent medical consultant evaluates the records that you've submitted to determine whether or not you meet the plan's definition of being disabled for any type of gainful employment. Remember, not just carpentry, but for any type of gainful employment. With respect to the payment options on a disability pension, and the disability payment options fall into the categories that we've already discussed. So on a disability pension, no matter how old you are, there is not an early reduction factor. So on the construction side, we calculate it as if you're 60. On the Millman side, we calculate it as if you're 65. So you don't incur any type of reduction for being disabled prior to those ages. A disability pension can be paid as a single life annuity with a 60-month guarantee, but you also have the 50, 75, and 100% joint and survivor options available to you. The partial lump sum option is also available. The level income option is not available on a disability pension. So that's the level income option not being available, and there not being an early reduction factor included in the calculation are the two main differences between a disability pension and a non-disability pension. A little bit later in the presentation, we're going to talk about work restrictions to be on pension. The work restrictions differ a little for disability pension. So for disability pension, remember, you're not supposed to be able to do any substantial gainful activity of any kind. So for a disability pension, you can do a little bit of work that is considered not to be substantial. So you can do a little bit of work in non-carpentry, non-building type employment without losing your disability pension, as long as you don't go over what Social Security sets as a substantial gainful activity earnings limit. Okay, that limit's adjusted every year For this year, the earnings limit is $1,350 a month. So you would be able to earn $1,350 a month from work, non-substantial work, while still keeping your disability pension. So, for example, I personally, back in the days when I was a service representative, I put a gentleman on pension, a disability pension, and a couple of mornings a week, he literally baked the biscuits at McDonald's. He wanted to get out of the house. He didn't want to just sit around, but of course he was disabled. He wasn't able to do any substantial work. So a couple of mornings every week, he literally went to McDonald's and, baked biscuits for a couple of hours on the breakfast shift. So when we're talking about a disability pension being able to work, we're certainly not talking about being able to work at any type of substantial employment. Part of the handout packet contains disability forms. If you are applying for a disability pension, there's a couple extra pages to the application. One of them is a form for you to fill out regarding your medical condition. One is a form for your doctor to fill out regarding your medical condition, and then another is a consent form. If you don't yet have Social Security disability, you'd have to sign a consent form so that we can send your medical records to our outside independent medical consultants.